Good morning, hope you're doing very well. It's rather blustery morning over the river. It's not too windy doing this video, but it is a bit blustery. Just want to quickly talk about West Ham, of course, and the transfer stuff. I was going to do a video yesterday, but sort of just waiting on clarity on certain things from X, so just sort of decided to hold off until then. I've got to be honest, even the update's still frustrating. Finding it, like many, this window to be painful, painfully slow. A typical David Sullivan run West Ham transfer window, really, in everything that we do. Seems to be just mind-boggling how bad we are at certain things, especially when it comes to negotiations and getting players over the line, and just difficult. We're just very, very slow at everything we seem to do, and it's very painful, especially after the start we've had and the urgency behind this midfield. It's very, very frustrating. And first of all, let's talk about Mateus Fernandes. So we went back in with a second bid for Mateus Fernandes, which was, I haven't seen the figure. Well, I have seen the figures, but I don't know whether they're true or not, but I believe they are, which is just, again, this is my point of how frustrating this window is under West Ham and its ownership. We went back in to Southampton with a £2 million improvement on the first offer. I mean, it's absolutely pathetic. So the original offer was £30 million. We now got back into 32. You know, we know that Southampton are holding out for around about £50 million. Look, we've already talked that we reckon it'd probably be less than that, maybe 45, maybe even 40. So I'm not suggesting West Ham have to go in and offer the full 50, but to go in with a £2 million increase is pretty insulting, especially when you get then news coming back from the club that they're working night and day trying to get these deals over the line. You're thinking, well, why are you going back in lowballing once again? That doesn't feel like a night and day effort, does it? That feels like just annoying everybody, and including Southampton, including the player, including West Ham and the manager and the fans and everyone else. It's just so frustrating. If you just go and get the deal done, if it's there to be done, because it does feel like it's there to be done. Mateus Fernandes, you know, if you look at the clubs he's been linked with and other clubs of interest, West Ham are clearly the front runners. We're clearly the only club really pushing to get this deal done. So why we feel the need to lowball and be nasty? I just feel like saying just go and get it done. I'm not. By the way, I know that also reflects that, well, maybe we can go in a bit low if we know we're the only club, but we ain't got the luxury of time. We've done this a month ago. I wouldn't be too fussed. Do you know what I mean? I'd be saying, okay, well, we've got weeks until the window. We're not in a panic yet. But this is ridiculous. We started our season. We're playing Chelsea tomorrow night. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely ridiculous. Frustrating. So the news is that the player wants to move, wants to leave the club, wants to leave Southampton. His agent's pushing for that as well. George Mendes, who we know has got a very great relationship with West Ham and the ownership. So that's a spanner in the works as well. We've got to overcome. No surprise there. So, but the news is that we are going to go back in for a third bid. West Ham I do feel there's a level of confidence we might be able to get something done, but I mean, it's very hard to say, isn't it, this window? It's been a very painful window for everyone concerned in terms of West Ham. It feels like we just seem to go all out of our way to make life very difficult in negotiations. We seem to piss everybody off. It's very, very difficult to be confident in anything West Ham are doing at the moment. But that being said, I think that we are going to go back in for Mateus Fernandes, and hopefully we can get something over the line with him. But he's considered West Ham's number one target for midfielders at the moment. So let's wait and see what we get on with that. Macau of Lille. The bid has gone in for him. Still waiting to hear back from Lille. I think that's one more in our price range, so it feels like something that could happen there. As I've talked about in previous videos, a player I'd really like to see happen as well. They're the kind of two that I would love to see happen. So we're just waiting to hear back on them. So hopefully we get some positive news on that. Then there's Timber of Feyenoord. So he is the twin brother of the Arsenal defender. And he apparently wants to move to London. He wants to come over to London. He's interested in coming to play in the Premier League in particular. He wants to play in London. Obviously, I'm guessing so because to be closer to his brother. So there is an option there. So it feels like we've got a bit of an opportunity here. There is interest elsewhere, though. I think he's available for around about 30 million quid. But there's Bayer Leverkusen are very interested in him as well. So it's not going to be easy. He has got a bit of a checkered injury record. So that was put to the club, like, what's the feelings on that? Apparently West Ham are willing to take a gamble on that, so we are going to try and push ahead with that in terms of a move. Also, Hayden Hackney is another name now that's come late. I'm not really confident in this one. It feels like a bit of a late. I mean, we talked about him a while back. I'm talking a couple of months ago as a player of interest. He's now someone that's come a bit more on the list of players that we're interested. Apparently, he's available for around about £20 million. So Again, fits into our price range, but I haven't seen that we've actually made a formal offer. He's just a player of interest at the moment. So in terms of also some loan moves, so Chukwuemeka of Chelsea is considered someone that we're interested in taking on loan. That might be to the tail end of the window, so maybe that's sort of like a last day deal, something like that, maybe towards the end there. Also, Basuma of Spurs, obviously played once before, didn't he, with Potter at Brighton, so he will be, he's a player of interest again, might be available, we can get on loan. This is where we are. It's a painful, slow and frustrating transfer window, especially now after that result against Sunderland. You know, the attention is on West Ham to get this addressed. Everyone knows our midfield problems. We've got Karen Brady saying to herself, do you know what I mean, on TalkSport, saying, you know, you have to be blind not to see how slow our midfield is. So I'd like to hope that actual Sunderland result might have a positive impact in terms of us in this window and getting the players in, but it just doesn't feel that way, does it? They're talking about this working night and day and desperately want to try and get this sorted out. It's all well and good saying all that, but then when you put it in lowball offers, it's just like, well, how serious are you? Do you know what I mean? We want to get these players over the line. The feeling is that we will bring in 2 players at least, okay? So that's the consideration. We will bring in 2 midfielders. So who they're going to be, I don't know. I'd like to think Mateus Fernandes will be one. We put a lot of work into this, it feels, in terms of, well, when I say a lot of work, I wouldn't say a lot of good work, but we put in work regardless in terms of getting him over the line. So I really, really hope we start showing some seriousness and getting this over the line. I'm annoyed by the fact that we've got in only with a £2 million increase on the original offer, which just feels like another insult to Southampton. You're wasting people's time, and it must be frustrating for everyone involved. So, but we are where we are. We are going to go back in with a third offer, and hopefully that one's going to be a bit more palatable, and we can start getting talks going. But as I say, I don't hold up much confidence in anything we're doing at the moment. I'll have a preview up later for the Chelsea game, hopefully with Tom as well if he's available. So yeah, we'll get that later on. If we get any more news, let you know. But until then, have a good one and come on your irons.